Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I have another watercolor play today in the little journal I've used last time as well. And just this time I'm using more materials and also a little bit of a different color palette. In addition to the watercolors, I'm using the Derwent liquid charcoal, tinted charcoal, sorry, but you can use it with water. It's like that, a watercolor palette. And I also maybe wanted to throw in some of the core watercolors just to see the difference between I would say normal watercolor. The core watercolors are the ones from Golden that have that high flow. So that's sometimes really interesting. I always, not always, when I use them, I throw in one or two colors of this palette. I would not use every color of this palette, because if every color has a high flow, you get just no special effects, I would say, because it will go back and forth. Well, that is something that you should discover on your own. Playing with the materials and finding out how they work and what you like about it, and then use that in your work. And I personally don't need every color to be a high flow color. I just want to throw in sometimes these type of colors to make a painting more interesting or get that high flow effect. As I said, I'm changing my color palette for this session. Well, what means changing? I am usually someone who really likes to play with color, and I also have to say that I get bored quickly with color palettes. So once I've painted with a color palette for some time, I quickly, I would say I get bored and I want to see something else. I think the only thing that doesn't bore me is the morning coffee. It's the same with food. If I eat a certain food a lot of times each day, after a few days, I would just skip that because I find it boring. I don't know. You can see I've just played. I made some orb shapes here, and I really love the color palette, and I really like that I can always come back to these sketches and reference them and use the same colors in a bigger piece. That I'm using that charcoal now, and it's like a watercolor, but it soaks up a lot of water, so you need a lot of it to get them activated and going. And I really like the texture you get with these charcoal paints. They also have the Derwent XL charcoal blocks, which are, I would say, the same, just in a big block form. I don't know. I have these as well, but they come in other colors. They are not more vibrant, but different colors. So not only black and gray. And here I'm going in with a bit more black because I thought that charcoal gray is not dark enough. I think I mentioned this in almost every video that I always try to increase the contrast by having really dark areas and really light ones. That doesn't mean that you have to use black in your work, but it's always good to have a wide color range. That means you have something that's really light and midtones and something that's darker compared to the other colors, so that you get just a harmonic value range. And the wider it is, I think the more interesting it is. Whilst the left side is drying, I'm just switching over to the right. And here I'm going not for the cobalt turquoise from the core set. I think I used it on the left side from the core set. I'm using the one from the Paul Rubens palette. I didn't mention it. I'm using the same watercolor palette here that I've used in my last Wednesday video. It's a palette from Paul Rubens. I've just put two palettes together. I got a standard palette a while back from them, and the ocean set. I don't know if it's called ocean set. I think it's called seascape set. And I put the palettes together, so I have now one big palette. And I think there were about 9 or 10 colors that were the same. So it was really nice, and I was able to fill my whole tin here. If you want to see more videos like this, there is one up from last week. You can watch it, and I've already posted some watercolor videos in the past. I'm going to link up a playlist for you in the info card so you can find them. And if you want even more videos, you can join my monthly membership. I'm sharing a process video every other Saturday. If you join the mixed media plate here, but there is also a video up where you can just get the info what it's all about, and I'm going to link this up as well. There will be also a blog post for this video where you can jump over and have a look at the finished paintings and close-up images of this sketchbook. If you are enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a lovely comment. I'm really happy about getting lovely comments and reading them. I think I didn't mention the sketchbook that's also from Paul Rubens. I got this with the watercolor palette last time. It's not my favorite paper because it's a cold press paper with a lot of texture. And I personally like it when the paper is a bit more smooth, so I can draw over the top with colored pencils. And here it's yeah, it's quite textured, but it's really nice paper, and I thought I would use this sketchbook just as kind of a little inspiration sketchbook regarding color patterns, and I will just play in this one to experiment with my materials, to find out mainly more about my watercolors. I did this in the past as well, maybe not in a dedicated sketchbook, but when I do sketchbook pages, I did this a lot, and this sketchbook will be just for this purpose. I'm working in layers. That's what I also do when I paint. I usually work in, I would say, 3 layers. That's a good count. I think it's never less than 3, sometimes 4. I think for me this is a good amount. I think if you add too many layers, it can become too much, and the colors can become a little bit dull maybe. But that's also something that you have to experiment with by your own and see what you like and what you enjoy. Something a little off topic I would like to mention. I'm at the moment running a giveaway over on Instagram. It's on both of my accounts, so you can have a look either or. And it's a collaboration with Meeden Art Supplies, and they give away a oil paint pastel painting set. And it's a really nice set. I got it myself. And if you are into oil pastels, if you would like to try out oil pastels or play with them, maybe you want to join that, jump over. You just need to follow one of my accounts, the Meeden account, and comment on the post. And the winner will be announced next Monday. So you have a little bit of time to join there. And definitely search for that in the Instagram search, because they have a campaign at the moment and a lot of artists doing giveaways. There are also their acrylic markers I have seen, and other art sets that they give away, so you can you get multiple chances. I already started with some mark making on my page. I always experiment with different brushes, how to use the brush. Um, yeah, and later in my process, I usually go in with other materials. I am a big fan of mixed media, and one reason is makes it so much easier to build up texture and interest compared to using only one medium. I think with watercolor it's quite good because you can use it thicker, thinner, wet, dry. Um, I think that makes it quite easy, same as with acrylics. But for example, with only colored pencil, it gets really hard to bring in all these different textures. And with mixed media, that's really easy. Um, you automatically get a different texture with another material, and that's the same when you do only a color pencil drawing compared to a layered drawing where you start with watercolor and then probably add some shading with another material and colored pencil on top. You get much more texture in that drawing or painting, and that makes it automatically more interesting and easier. I'm now going through my markers. I'm using the Arrtx markers today because these are the ones I have next to me on my desk. I got the NMY markers recently and I showed them to you in one of my past videos. They, to me, they are the same. I don't see any difference. Of course, I haven't tested which one lasts the longest, but I have a favorite Arrtx marker set, which is not this one. My favorite set I have near my couch where I'm drawing in the evenings, and I'm going to link them for you, but I'm going to link the better set. So if you want to have some acrylic markers, I would recommend the other set. You can make some really nice raindrop shapes with these brush tips compared to the bullet tip from the Posca markers. So that's really nice that you can just experiment with your pens, which marks you can get with them. When I pick markers or crayons or whatever to draw over the top of my painting, I always pick colors that are cohesive to the colors that I've used on the painting. I would never use a color that is completely different and that is not on the page already. I think because if it's not anywhere in the background and then you put it in the foreground and you can't just anchor it to the background, then it looks a bit weird. And um, I would always add this color in. It doesn't have to be a big spot in the background, but I would always add this color in to the background in any kind, maybe adding some splatters with this color or just tiny marks. So everything stays connected. Here I'm using a Derwent Inktense pencils to make more marks, and I'm dipping the nib into water. That makes it very fluid and inky, and you get a good saturated line onto the paper. But as I said, I don't really like that paper for using colored pencils because it's so textured. That makes it a bit difficult. That goes much better on a smoother paper. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I think I'm painting over these marks because I didn't like them. And that's also something I do regularly when I don't like an area. I just try to cover it up. That's easier when you work with acrylics, gouache, or collage. Uh, it's not so easy with watercolors, but usually I get that worked out. Yeah, that's what I do. If I don't like a space on the painting, I would just try to get rid of it. And it's the same the other way around. If I like an area very much, I will take care that I don't cover it. I'm now finishing the pages with just more marks. That's the point where I have to stop myself sometimes. I think I mentioned this a lot. I really enjoy that part, and I have to take care not to overwork things. And here I picked another marker. This is an acrylic marker with a bullet tip, similar to the Poscas. It's also from Arrtx. I like the Poscas a little bit more because the nib is not as hard as the ones from Arrtx, but these work just fine, and I have them for a long time, and none of them had dried out or anything like that. So I really like them. And they come in a big variety of colors. That's what I love the most about them, because you will always find a color that matches your background. I don't do much to the left spread, just add some tiny lighter dots over the top, and that's it. After that, I call the spreads done. I'm really happy about the color palette, and that's definitely a color palette I'm going to use in a bigger painting in the future. Sorry for the noise in the background in case you hear it. We are on holidays, and um, yeah, everybody's at home, and that just uh, yeah, brings in some noise. I hope you enjoyed today's video. You can see the finished pieces here. Jump over to the blog for a closer look on the pictures. And I hope you enjoyed that video and you are inspired. And yeah, hopefully we will see us next time. Bye.